festive classics that are sure to lift your holiday spirit. Get your tickets at canearts.org.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Hey everyone, hello. Oh, it's so good to be back. So good to be behind this microphone, chatting with everyone here. You're listening to The Scoreboard. End the day well here with WSIC. Talk about some sports, things going on in the world. Well, not just things going on in the world. No. We're not going to talk about everything. We talk about sports on this program, because that's what I know, to the best of my abilities. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. We will take your phone calls today if you're interested. So go ahead, dial me up. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We got some high school sports to go over today. Yes, high school sports. Now, I got to apologize. I'm sorry. Thursday, Friday, I was under the weather. We're still trying to come out of it. We're almost there. You may notice I'm a little tired, out of breath. It's the way it is. We're going to battle through today, though. We're going to have some fun when we do it, right? Right. See if we can get this camera adjusted to where I need it. Hello, everyone. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to talk much on Thursday or on Friday. There was playoffs going on in the world of high school. You had no Panthers this weekend. They were on their bye week after Germany. There is an announcement that was made with the Panthers earlier today. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show, but for the first weekend since February, we have no NASCAR to talk about. Yeah, we handed out the championship, and we're done, right? What's going on in the world of NASCAR? Well, just a lot of nothing. I mean, they released the schedule for last year. Cool and all. I do have the booth for TNT and Amazon Prime. Adam Alexander, Steve Letarte, Dale Jr. going to be in those booths. Other than that, not much going on in the world of NASCAR. But it's only a couple of months until we get restarted. Look, it's already November. We got December and January, and then February is the Daytona 500. So there's not much downtime here in the world of NASCAR, but we'll get back into it when they resume. We want to talk a lot about high school soccer. The men's state championships are going on, state playoffs are going on, and high school football is going on as well. Round one of the playoffs was on Friday. We're going to go through the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A brackets just to let you know what's going on, who to keep your eye on as we move through the playoffs. Any of those local programs that are having a good year, maybe we get a state championship coming in our area. Who knows? We'll see. We're going to continue to cover all of those things for you. We're also going to talk some college football. It's a mess, as you probably figured. It's a mess, an absolute mess. I love it. Personally, I think it's a good mess. There's the traditionalist probably does not think it's a good mess, but we'll get into college football. The NFL, if we have time, we'll start talking about the NHL, the NBA. Hey, guess what? The Hornets, they're not the worst team in the East. Who'd have thought? There you go. So we're going to start in the soccer world because, well, we are at the regionals already. Yeah, so if you want to win a state championship and you haven't lost yet, you only need to win 2 more games. So we're going to talk 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A regionals, go through all of them, see who's been having a good year. We'll start in the 1A conference as always. A little bit of a surprise as who's representing in the regionals here. You have the 2 seed, Bradford Prep. Not a surprise there. The 1 seed, Highland Tech, lost. Yeah, they lost 3-0 to Mount Airy High School, who is a 13 seed going into this tournament here. So the regional matchup is going to be between Mount Airy High School and Bradford Prep School. That is the west side of the state. On the east side, you have the 9 seed Voyager Academy playing the 2 seed Hobtown, something like that. You know, these eastern cities and schools, we don't know much about them because they're like hours away. But that is the regional matchup. Winners go play for a state championship game. Bradford Prep, Mount Airy High School, they are right here. Bradford Prep is in Charlotte. That is the 1A school. And Mount Airy, well, I'm pretty sure most of us know where Mount Airy is. It's in Mount Airy, North Carolina, a little bit north of us. So that is the 1A regionals on the west side of the state. Going into the 2A bracket, we do have a 1 seed that made it all the way to the regional. Good for that 1 seed. Southwestern Randolph High School. They, I would say, breezed through the playoffs so far, but their most recent game, the 4th round game against Newton Conover, ended up being a 5-4 victory for Southwest Randolph. So they didn't squeak through that. Well, they did kind of squeak through that one, but they didn't breeze through it, that's for sure. Their opponent in the regional matchup is going to be the 14 seed Lincolnton High School. Yes, the 14 seed has moved into the regionals. How did that end up happening? Well, in round number 3, Lincolnton High School took a trip to Pine Lake. And Lincolnton ended up getting the win in that matchup by a final score of 1-0. Yeah, unfortunate for my alma mater high school, Pine Lake, getting bounced in the 3rd round by Lincolnton. But then that 14 seed, they move on and they beat Patton High School 3-1. And now they find themselves in the regionals with a chance to go play for a state title. So, by the way, I didn't mention it in the 1A, but all of these regional games are taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the regionals, then later in the week, we'll have the state championship games. So stay tuned for that, but just know that the ones we're going over now are tomorrow. The 3A bracket sees another 1 seed moving through, and it's actually the first one where the west side of the state went chalk to the regionals. We have the 1 seed versus a 2 seed. Ashboro High School, the 1 seed, taking on number 2, AC Reynolds. Now, we did have some 3A programs in our area that were making a run. North Iredell, they had lost to Hibritton High School earlier in the playoffs. Yet Hickory High School, an 11 seed, just barely get bounced by South Point High School. It was a 4-3 victory. Both schools scored in overtime, but it was South Point High School that scored again in the second overtime period, giving them the 4-3 victory. Number 1 seed, Ashboro. Number 2 seed, AC Reynolds High School. We do have to go to our first commercial break. We're not done discussing high school sports yet. So before we can move on to anything else, when we come back, we're going to go over high school soccer, get into some football because those first round playoffs, they happened on Friday. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, pretty mild as we kick off a new work week around Lake Norman. Plenty of sunshine, low 70s for our Monday. We'll be in the upper 60s, near 70 through the middle of the week, but bring in a chance for a passing shower or two. But then big changes are in store as we go to the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Likely our coldest air of the season, potentially our first freeze of the season on the way by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts.
The
Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Buy tickets at southernChristmasShow.com. Online tickets courtesy of Kraft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins Friday. The Holiday Light Show features more than 5 million lights on a 4-mile course through the oval, pit road, and infield. The show also has drive-in movies on the gigantic Speedway TV. Speedway Christmas tickets and information are available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. The Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department will host a barbecue chicken fundraiser on Saturday from 1 p.m. until they're sold out. The event will be at Station 1, located at 501 Brewerton Park Road off Taylorsville Highway in Stony Point. The meal includes barbecue chicken, baked beans, slaw, roll, and dessert for $10 per plate and will be a drive-through event. The proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards projects for the fire department. For further information, call the Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department at 704-585-2519 and leave a message. Sunday Fun Day returns to Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum takes the stage at 4 p.m. for a free concert powered by Waves Entertainment. Grab your chairs, your dancing shoes, and your friends to enjoy cold brews and a fun outdoor concert by Rattle and Hum. We'll see you Sunday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for Sunday Fun Day. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Nothing says wow like a gift from Harrison's. Get what they want and what they need thanks to our huge selection of work staples and Western favorites from Ariat, Carhartt, Wrangler, and more. And there's nothing merrier than a new pair of boots from Harrison's. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
It ain't easy being number one, but we make it look good.
WSIC.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And we are back. Segment 2 here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Thought I changed that over. There we go. Now you can see me. If you're viewing on the YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, the WSIC News app, yeah, all of that, you can get the video. Or maybe you're listening on good old 100.7, 105.9 FM, or even 1400 AM. We're everywhere. It's hard to miss us. Hard to miss us. We are in the middle of talking about high school playoffs, not only football, which we will get into in a second, but we have soccer going on, which is even farther in than the football playoffs. We are all the way to the regional round, the Final Four, if you will, in the high school soccer state playoffs. We just talked about the 3A conference. Ashboro High School, AC Reynolds High School will be playing in that regional matchup. The east part of the state has a couple of interesting schools. One that's real interesting here. Out of Durham, Southern School of Energy and Sustainability, the Spartans, as they're called. The Southern School of Energy and Sustainability Spartans. That is a mouthful. They're the 5 seed. They play number 2 West Alamance High School. Winners go play for a state championship. That is how things break down in that 3A bracket. Now moving on to the big schools, the massive schools, the 4A bracket. Man, there were a lot of upsets in this bracket. You had Mooresville losing early. Lake Norman lost early. There was just a lot of upsets. The 1 seed didn't make it past round 2. That just goes to show you how much parity there was in the 4A bracket this year. The regional matchup on the west side of the state, number 17, Charlotte Catholic, playing number 6, Marvin Ridge High School. Yeah, a couple of higher seeds in there. And this isn't anything out of the ordinary. We see this maybe not often, but we do see it where, yeah, the 1 seed, they're just not going to have a cakewalk. And sometimes in these 4A brackets, and even in the 3A, even though that didn't work out this time around, you just see the competition is so spread out that, yeah, maybe you're a 1 seed. That means you're going to be playing a lesser team to start things off, but they're not that much of a lesser team. Number 17, Charlotte Catholic. Number 6, Marvin Ridge High School. The winner goes to play for a state title. Their opponent is either going to be Green Hope High School or Wakefield High School, the 12 and 3 seeds, respectively. That is how everything pans out right now in the world of soccer. We will be giving out a state title relatively soon in the soccer world. Now, we still have a few weeks left in football, and it's actually going to be right before Christmas where we have that take place. It's going to be a long playoff for these football teams. The first round of the playoffs was completed yesterday. Let's go over some of these games and let you know who's moving on. Starting with the 1A conference. There's only one school in the 1A that is right smack in our listening area, and that is Christ the King High School out of Huntersville. Now, they were 5-6 in the regular season. They weren't all that great. They started off 0-3, by the way. And I'm sorry, I got their regular season schedule record wrong. They were 4-6, but still made the playoffs as a 19 seed, and that's all you need to do. I said it before, I'll say it again. If you make the dance, you have a chance. Christ the King High School won their first round game against Allegheny High School, 31-28, the final score in that one. Now, Christ the King moves on. Round 2, they play the 3 seed in Murphy High School. The 1 seed made it through round 1 without much of a problem. That was Thomas Jefferson High School and Mount Airy. Mount Airy with the 68-0 win. 2 seed also made it through with a 57-7 victory. So nothing too egregious happening in the first round of the 1A bracket. We'll see, though. I'm expecting some upsets here, and I don't expect everything to go chalk. Even though we only had 2 upsets, I believe, in this 1A bracket. And I'm talking upsets based on where they're seated. You know, obviously, seedings are what they are. You might have a team that's better on paper, didn't do as well on the field, being a lower seed. So we're just talking about rankings, who would be favored in that. The better seed, the lower seed. We had 2 lower seeds win in the 1A bracket. Moving on to 2A. The 1 seed and the 2 seed were able to handle their business in game 1. Reedsville High School with the 56-22 victory over RS Central, and Shelby High School pitching the shutout, 49-0 over Moorhead High School. Now, there were a few schools in our area that made these 2A playoffs. We have Community School of Davidson, CSD, a 10 seed, playing the 23 seed Bandy's High School. Well, CSD comes out victorious in that one with a 42-6 victory in that game. You also have Lincolnton. We talked about them in the soccer scene, a 15 seed playing the 18 seed Maiden High School. And Maiden High School got it done with a 28-3 victory. So the 18 seed beating the 15 seed. Unfortunately, Lincolnton's season has come to an end. there aren't any other schools within our immediate listening area that are moving on in these playoffs. So we're going to continue to cover it. Obviously, we have CSD. We talked about Community School of Davidson. They're the 10 seed. They'll be playing number 7 Mount Pleasant High School. But we're going to continue to cover these at least. But, there might not be many schools in our listening area. It happens every year. The farther you go into the playoffs, the less teams that are playing. And the chances that they're in our listening area, well, that goes down as well. Moving on to the 3A playoff. We did have a lot of schools, actually, in our listening area make this playoff bracket. Starting with Statesville High School, the 14 seed. Statesville High School playing number 19, Franklin High School, and they get the victory. Statesville with the 15-3 win. They move on to round number 2, and it's going to be a tough matchup in that second round game. Hickory High School, the 3 seed. Yeah, early in this one, a couple of big hitters in the 3A Western Foothill Conference. You have Statesville High School and Hickory High School squaring off. This game is going to be Friday at 7 o'clock at Hickory High School. So keep that in mind. That's going to be my football local game of the week. Keep that in mind. Hickory hosting Statesville High School. The 1 seed and the 2 seed in the 3A bracket hold serve. They beat their opponents, so they move on. You also had North Iredell back their way into the playoffs as a 27 seed. And as we say, if you make the dance, you have a chance. Unfortunately, North Iredell did get bounced in that first round matchup against Oak Grove High School. It was a 49-13 final score in that one. Tough, but hey, it was a good season. And honestly, I didn't expect to see North Iredell in the playoffs. The fact that they made it, I think they should be pretty happy with the effort that they gave this year and the effort that they gave in that playoff game, scoring 13 points against number 6 Oak Grove High School. That is a good feat right there. North Lincoln High School, the 10 seed out of Lincolnton. We're talking a little bit just right on the edge of that listening area there. They move on as the 10 seed, beating North Davidson. So we do have schools within this listening area in our audience that are going to be moving on. We'll talk more about the high school football scene as we get closer to Friday. We'll give you a recap on what's coming up. And in the 4A bracket, man, oh man, Mooresville High School won their first game of the playoffs 70-0. It was Mooresville versus Alexander Central. The final score, 6 seed Mooresville 70, 27 seed Alexander Central, nothing. That was a good game right there. Huff High School beat South Iredell 59-0. You had Mallard Creek roll through Lake Norman High School. Lake Norman getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Final score in that one was 34-9. The 1 seed and the 2 seed in the 4A also both moving on. So we do have a lot more 4A action in our area than we do in any of the others. So we're going to continue to talk about that as we go through the week. We'll recap it again on Friday, like I said. When we return, we're going to go up 1 rank into the college rank. College football talk coming up next.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, pretty mild as we kick off a new work week around Lake Norman. Plenty of sunshine, low 70s for our Monday. We'll be in the upper 60s, near 70 through the middle of the week, but bring in a chance for a passing shower or two. But then big changes are in store as we go to the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Likely our coldest air of the season, potentially our first freeze of the season on the way by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
If you need home medical equipment, call Lowry Drug in Statesville. We have everything you need in stock, including portable oxygen concentrators, CPAPs, masks, lift chairs, wheelchairs, scooters, hospital beds, supplies, and anything else you need. Get it when you need it. Check out LowryDrug.com or call 704-873-2247. Lowry Drug, your hometown source since 1959, across from Iredell Memorial Hospital. We are worth the drive. Come see us.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
Harness the healing power of horses. With the amazing staff at Willow Equine in Mooresville, we create a supportive environment conducive to healing and growth, dedicated to self-discovery and overcoming adversity. There's a program for you at willowequine.com.
The world's news.
Taiwan is a successful democracy, a thriving economy, and a global leader in health and science.
When you need it.
I was surprised there were no facts in there. I mean, normally in an indictment you have alleged facts, so they said that this was a false business record entry to aid and abet another crime. We're not saying what the other crime was.
This is WSIC.
I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. It is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
WSIC. News, talk, now. 76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News, talk, now.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. In the NFL, it isn't uncommon to see coaches and players get into heated arguments on the sideline. Even though the coach is the authority, sometimes players don't like the instructions or coaching that they have been given, and they choose to be stubborn. Unfortunately, we all display stubborn behavior at times. This is problematic when geared toward any authority, but especially when it comes to us being disobedient toward God's word and his instructions for our lives. Jesus said in John 14:15, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." Of course, by refusing to follow the Lord's lead and stubbornly refusing when he clearly asks us to do something, we end up losing and suffering the consequences for our poor decision. Today, let's be wise and listen to God, the all-knowing and all-powerful creator. Let's stop being so stubborn and prideful, and let's follow the instructions from our coach. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. First, a massive rally after the election. That was followed by a sizable sell-off the following week. Hard to tell what will happen this week, but Wall Street began the week a lot quieter as stocks end the day mixed on this Monday. The Dow, 55 points lower at the close. The Nasdaq, though, up 112, 0.2% higher. The S&P added 23. Shares of Donald Trump's Trump Media and Tech Group rose 16% today. The Financial Times reported it's in advanced talks to buy the crypto trading firm Bakkt. No details of the deal revealed. Shares of oil and gas fracking company Liberty Energy rose 5% after President-elect Trump nominated its CEO, Chris Wright, to be the U.S. Energy Secretary. And as expected, the low-cost carrier Spirit Airlines filed for bankruptcy today after a proposed merger with JetBlue Airways was scuttled by a judge and after never quite recovering from the pandemic. It's still flying, though, as it works with creditors to restructure its debt. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second half of the scoreboard on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. I don't know. Is it now a Monday night? It got dark out. It got dark pretty quick. Is it now Monday night? Scoreboard after dark? That never made sense to me. After dark. No, it's after the light. That's when it is dark. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We are going to talk about college football because it is as crazy as it's ever been. And, you know, it wasn't looking like it was going to be all that insane of a weekend. You know, a lot of the ranked teams were playing unranked teams, and a lot of the ranked programs ended up winning, especially the ones that are within playoff reach, you know, 1 through 12. Now, there were a couple of outliers. Obviously, you had Georgia and Tennessee playing a game. That was a huge one, huge playoff implications in that one, with Georgia being dropped to 12 in the rankings after a loss. And Tennessee, well, they're up there. They're number 7 right now. I don't know if that's going to stay the same, though, because Georgia gets the win. Now, the AP rankings are out, but we really, at this point of the year, we don't care about the AP rankings. Maybe we do a little bit to get a general idea of where these teams are going to be ranked, but we want to know what the College Football Playoff Committee has to say about the rankings. Once their rankings come out tomorrow night, we could really dive deep and look and see, okay, who is in good shape? Who's going to possibly be playing for a conference title coming up? Because those games are around the corner. And who's on the outside looking in? I have no idea what the answer is to any of those. Okay? I'm just going to preface it. When you look at the AP rankings after the update from this weekend, here are your top 12. We're just going to go through the top 12. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Miami, and Boise State. Currently, that is your top 12. I don't think it's going to stay that way, obviously. You do have a few big games coming up this weekend. Number 5, Indiana playing number 2, Ohio State. That's one that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. Now, I don't know if the loser of that game is necessarily going to get knocked out of the top 12. You're that high up and you lose to a team that's that good. I would assume that there's a buffer built in for you, but you never know what the committee is going to say. We don't even know where these teams are going to be ranked going into that game. But number 1, Oregon ended up getting the win. Number 2, Ohio State gets a win. Here's what I want to go over. The conference standings. The American Athletic Conference, the AAC, has 2 teams that have yet to lose a conference game. That's number 18, Army, and number 20, Tulane. Now, Tulane and Army do not play in the regular season this year. Yes, you heard me correctly. Tulane and Army don't play in the regular season, so they could both potentially go into the AAC championship with undefeated conference records. Will the winner of that conference make the playoff? I don't know. This is where it gets crazy because you have the ACC, number 11 Miami. We just talked about that. Well, they're 3rd in their conference right now. The conference championship would be between SMU and Clemson, the 13 and 17 seeds. I would assume that the ACC is going to get an automatic qualifier. Then you have the Big 12, 14 and 16, BYU and Colorado. I don't know if they're going to be it's chaos right now. In the Big 10, it would be number 1, Oregon, and number 5, Indiana. 2 and 4, Ohio State, Penn State. Yeah, they've lost conference games, so they wouldn't be in the conference championship game. And then you have the SEC, which is a mess. You have Texas, Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. All of those schools are ranked. Yeah, every single one of those schools that I just listed off is ranked. Now, the two that stand atop of the conference right now with 5-1 records are number 3 Texas and number 15 Texas A&M. I can't predict anything. I really can't, because we don't know what these conference championship games are going to look like and who are they going to be between. We could realistically see 2, maybe 3 schools from outside the top 12 be a conference champion and be one of the 5 highest ranked conference champions. And then that moves the cutoff line because you already got 3. So it's not going to be 1 through 12. It'd then be 1 through 9 because you have 10, 11, and 12 from conference champ. You see what I'm saying? How it's just an absolute mess right now? We don't know what's going to happen. Teams can still lose games. And then you get to the conference championship. And here's my question with conference championship games. As we get closer, I'm going to throw out a hypothetical. Okay, this is just purely hypothetical. Number 8 and number 9 in the college football playoff rankings square off for a conference championship game. Does the loser get dropped out of the top 12? Let's say, like I said, 8 and 9 playing for a conference championship. Number 10 is in the same conference, but they are not playing for a conference championship. Does the loser of the conference championship get in trouble for losing and drop below the team that wasn't playing for a conference championship in the rankings? I feel like the farther we go into the season here and the more question marks that we raise with how is all of this going to pan out, maybe we should have just kept it at college football, the BCS, whoever wants to choose a national title game, because this is a mess. My head is spinning trying to wrap my head around it, because realistically, you could be the number 10 team in the college football rankings, right? If you're number 10, maybe you don't want to play for a conference championship. Just say, you know what? We'll sit at 10. Maybe some people lose in front of us and we can make the playoffs. Because if you're number 10 and you lose the conference championship, the chances of you being out of the playoffs, I would think they go higher. I would think that would have an impact on your rankings. I'm just as confused as everybody else. But the only thing that can solve that is if you win a football game. Just win. Win the games that are in front of you. Win, and you know, we say that, but it's not true. You could win all your games and still miss the playoffs. Florida State last year. What if a team wins the conference championship, but their quarterback gets injured? Do they lose their bid? Because last year they took a playoff spot away from a team who was undefeated and had an injured quarterback. We're going to be talking about this all the way through when the playoff bracket drops. It is not going to be a discussion that just goes by the wayside. We're going to, because it's the first time we're doing this. We don't know how it's going to work out. Conference championship week is going to be insane. That's all you need to know. And it might be one of the greatest weeks that college football has ever produced. I'm looking forward to it, for one. We got one more segment here on the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get into the NFL when we return.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, pretty mild as we kick off a new work week around Lake Norman. Plenty of sunshine, low 70s for our Monday. We'll be in the upper 60s, near 70 through the middle of the week, but bring in a chance for a passing shower or two. But then big changes are in store as we go to the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Likely our coldest air of the season, potentially our first freeze of the season on the way by the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Ckezepis Toys and Gifts.
The Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Buy tickets at southernChristmasShow.com. Online tickets courtesy of Craft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins Friday. The Holiday Light Show features more than 5 million lights on a 4-mile course through the oval, pit road, and infield. The show also has drive-in movies on the gigantic Speedway TV. Speedway Christmas tickets and information are available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. The Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department will host a barbecue chicken fundraiser on Saturday from 1 p.m. until they're sold out. The event will be at Station 1, located at 501 Brewerton Park Road off Taylorsville Highway in Stony Point. The meal includes barbecue chicken, baked beans, slaw, roll, and dessert for $10 per plate and will be a drive-through event. The proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards projects for the fire department. For further information, call the Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department at 704-585-2519 and leave a message. Sunday Fun Day returns to Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum takes the stage at 4 p.m. for a free concert powered by Waves Entertainment. Grab your chairs, your dancing shoes, and your friends to enjoy cold brews and a fun outdoor concert by Rattle and Hum. We'll see you Sunday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for Sunday Fun Day. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Did you know we also own and operate Statesville's first coffee roasting facility? We roast coffee beans for businesses, fundraising events, special occasions such as a wedding. We can even put a custom message on the back of your bags. If you're a company or simply someone with a coffee need, give us a call at 704-252-1886. And remember, if you want fresh, you must go local.
It's The Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Final segment on the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. 844 Studio 4. That's the phone number if you want to be a part of the program. I'm here for you. I'll always be here for you. We've been spending a lot of time on football today. I guess Monday morning is, or Monday, I guess now it's evening. It is pitch black out there. Yeah, it's pretty dark out. Monday evening football. We did the high school scene earlier. College scene a couple of minutes ago. Now we get to talk about the NFL. The Carolina Panthers were on hiatus this week. They had their bye week. Now it is full send through the final part of the season. Some big news out of Panthers camp during the bye week. Panthers head coach Dave Canales said Monday he is sticking with Bryce Young for the fourth straight game. And it is believed that Bryce Young will be the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. It is believed. Now, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago with the Panthers and their schedule and, okay, what happens if they look decent in their games, in their game against the Giants overseas in Germany? Or what if, who knows, what if they beat New Orleans? Well, they won both of those games. They go into the bye week on a 2-game winning streak, and now it kind of gets a little harder at the end of the year. 7 games remain on the Panthers' season. The teams that they'll be facing: the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, at the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, at the Buccaneers, and at the Falcons. That is a tough end to the season. Now, I don't expect them to beat the Chiefs. Let's wipe that possibility away to start. They're probably not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who are coming off of a loss, by the way. Got to remember the Chiefs lost to the Bills on Sunday. They're going to be hungry to win another game, not lose 2 in a row. And I just don't think the Panthers have what it takes to stop the Chiefs. Then you have some division matchups. You got the Buccaneers in there twice, and then you get to play the Falcons one more time to end the season. Eagles are in there, Cowboys without Dak Prescott, and the Arizona Cardinals, who are somewhat of a surprise this year. I would like to see 2 more wins on the year. I'm not asking for much. I think they can beat the Buccaneers, one of those 2 games, and then I can see them maybe beating the Cowboys, the Cardinals, even the Falcons to end the year. The Falcons have been on a little bit of a downturn here recently. I hope that they don't go back on this and end up taking Bryce Young out. I also don't know if the plan for the future is for him to be the starting quarterback. I think it's all going to depend on how he performs in the final 7 games of the season. If Bryce Young looks good and they're still losing, I think it'll be fine. I think Bryce Young will stick around. But if Bryce Young does not look good and they're still losing football games, we could see another quarterback make its way to the Carolinas. That's just the way the NFL is nowadays. You don't give people a big hook. You got a short hook here, short leash. Get him out. Look at what happened in Chicago. And take away the fact that they got the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. They had Justin Fields there, who's not a terrible quarterback in my opinion, but he doesn't win. He doesn't get you into the playoffs. He doesn't win playoff games, and he's out. I think it was 3 years, 4 years maybe he made it. You just don't get that much of a shot anymore. There are teams that give you a shot, like the New York Giants. The Daniel Jones experiment, by the way, is over. If you have not heard the news, and I know there are a lot of New York Giant fans in our area, if you have not heard the news, word came down today that the New York Giants are benching quarterback Daniel Jones. Not only are they benching him, but the Giants have 3 quarterbacks on their roster. Daniel Jones on the depth chart will be quarterback number 3. Yes, he will not be seeing the field, and I would assume that he's done in New York. That's it. He got way more of a leash than we've seen any quarterback. And he hasn't been good. He's been pretty bad. I mean, they did make the playoffs a couple of years ago, and somehow they won a playoff game. Don't even get me started on that. I don't know how the Giants end up winning a playoff game with Daniel Jones as the quarterback. But it is Danny Dimes' turn. Yeah. Tommy Cutlets back under center. I love it. If this isn't organizational tanking, I think I said that right. Organizational tanking, then I don't know what is. Because I think Drew Lock is probably a better option than Tommy DeVito. But that's just me. So the Giants moving on from their quarterback. I want to go over a few of the games from the weekend. Man, the Lions are a juggernaut. I know a lot of people picked them to win the Super Bowl. Now, I had them going to the Super Bowl. I also, for some reason, thought the Bengals were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I had Burrow being comeback player of the year, maybe some MVP votes. Burrow's having a great year, but that Bengals defense, oh boy, they are not good. Probably the biggest game of the weekend was the Chiefs at the Bills in Buffalo. The Bills once again beat the Chiefs in the regular season. And I say in the regular season because I don't care. I do not care that the Chiefs lost to the Bills. I don't care that the Bills finally beat the Chiefs again. Woohoo. What are you going to do in the playoffs? Because these two teams are not teams where you look at them and you say, okay, we got to have a really good regular season, guys. No, we're assuming that they're going to the playoffs. Really, the only thing that they're battling for is home field advantage in those playoffs. But beating the Chiefs in the regular season, okay, good for you. Sure, confidence boost, cool, that's great. What are you going to do for me in the playoffs? Because nobody's been able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs the past 2 years. Back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And they start the year 9 consecutive wins. What are you going to do for me in the playoffs? That is my big question as we wrap up. What week are we in now? Week 11. One more game coming up tonight. The Cowboys without Dak Prescott taking on the Texans, who I thought were going to be a little bit better than they are this year. 6-4, still having an advantage in the division that they're in. Kind of a weak division. So that's what's coming up tonight. We had some other good games on Sunday. You had the Steelers and the Ravens, a divisional game there. There are a few teams in the NFL, especially in the AFC, that I look at and I go, you guys are having a great regular season. It's going to stink when you lose in the first or second round now, isn't it? And I feel that way about the Steelers and the Chargers, who won on Sunday Night Football against the Bengals. You got two franchises there in the Chargers and Bengals that have verbs, meaning that they did a Bengals or a Charger thing. You got chargering and you got the Bungles. They bungled it. Well, the Chargers tried to charger, and then the Bungles ended up bungling. What a mess that game was. I'm going to be honest. I messed up on this one. At halftime, I tuned out. I was like, you know what? Hockey's on. Let's watch some hockey. This isn't a good Sunday night game. And then I'm checking my phone, and all of a sudden I see a tweet that says, game on. What? The Bengals tied the game? Yeah, they ended up tying the game, losing it. The final 2 minutes of that game were a mess. So many possessions, missed field goals. I mean, I feel bad for McPherson. I do. He was a highly touted kicker for quite some time. Remember, he was the guy. And now he's kind of struggling a little bit, along with Justin Tucker, which I didn't think I would ever see Justin Tucker struggle to make field goals. And one more point on the field goal thing. A little interesting that a couple of weeks after we heard rumblings of, will the NFL think about narrowing the goalposts? We see some important missed kicks, missed extra points, blocked field goals. Did the kickers conspire to say, no, we don't want you to narrow the goalposts. We're going to start missing, I promise. We'll miss a little bit. Just a little fun as we get close to the end of the day. With the end of the day here, we got to talk about some things that happened on this day in sports history. Oh, wait, before we do that, I forgot to mention, no this day in sports history today. I'm sorry. I apologize to anybody who bought Netflix to try and watch Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. You probably had a better time watching Antonio Brown stream it on X because Netflix stunk. The fight stunk. The undercard was better, and I forget, I don't have it right in front of me, but the fight right before Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, that was an incredible fight. And that probably should have been the main event of the evening. But Jake Paul beating an old man, are we surprised? Really? Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the scoreboard today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. As always, have a good night, everyone.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.